The middle of summer 2024 NBA free agency, many players getting fat contracts end up in complacency, but many disappointing lottery picks about to fail out the league, holding on for their occupationcy. Some now been overseas, citizens with extra passports, integrationcy. But not all NBA teams have full rosters till days before tip-off. One more spot to fill, these players better claim their vacancy. These former lottery picks already gone, supposed to be stars, now out the league. Romeo Langford, if top-notch franchises like San Antonio and Boston don't want you, it's not a good sign. But not as bad as absolute travesty Killian Hayes, flaming out the terrible Detroit Pistons. Doesn't get any worse for an NBA player. And James Bouknight, from being stuck in Charlotte, a terrible franchise, allowed their young players to live real life like Grand Theft Auto. His damaged reputation more than likely force other teams to stay away. Many other players who will be out the NBA after next April, some might not even make it till then. Let's start off with Bamba of the LA Clippers, the most desperate fake contender. After losing PG, new arena, no draft picks till next decade, the smallest 7-footer with all the intangibles, a glamorous 7'10" wingspan, but plays like he's 6'2", absolutely zero fundamentals. For the now 26-year-old, hasn't improved an ounce since getting drafted, having multiple chances for a bad Orlando teams years ago, no impact with the Sixers, even with Joel Embiid missing games. The questionable motor raises questions for years, and Bamba still hasn't done anything about it, just content to stay in the league, possibly the only center to get blocked by Jeff Teague twice in one game, and also blocked by little Trae Young. One of the lowest b-ball IQs, the most fragile big man in the league, except for the time he swung at Austin Rivers. Avoids physicality, especially when screening, hasn't hit the weight room. When will these NBA teams understand he just simply doesn't give a damn? Already made almost 40 mil, providing no impact in the league. Many times on the court, the tallest guy out there, only to be standing around the 3-point line, can't guard the perimeter, and gets body against actual centers. Butterfingers, low effort attitude, from getting destroyed by Embiid in practice, his only meaningful work moments next season, getting abused next by Ivica Zubac, having all the talents to be better than Zoo, but just doesn't take his game seriously. Bamba should have been out the league years ago when he was getting benched by Cam Birch. If Mo was 6'6" instead of 7 foot, would absolutely not be a professional basketball player, but still finds himself in a great situation, having one of the best lob passers, James Harden, who made Clint Capella look like a star at times. If Bamba can't catch easy lobs, he absolutely don't deserve another shot at the NBA. If Mo even had average work ethic, he'd be 20 pounds heavier by now, easily put up 10 and 8 with 2 blocks. If he was in the same draft class as Derek Lively, more than half the teams would have taken Mo. But the harder worker, still raw Lively, in his rookie season, surpassed Bamba as an NBA player within the first 2 months due to hunger and understanding his role with work ethic. Mo Bamba ain't got none of that. Marvin Bagley III also none of that. From being labeled one of the best prospects in a long time, the #1 high school player on ESPN's Top 100 will only be remembered for the bust taken ahead of Luka Doncic. No single memorable NBA highlight. The average NBA fan can't even think of one spectacular Bagley moment from the league. From putting up empty stats in Sacramento, even benched by Rashad Holmes, to bouncing around Detroit and Washington, having constant injuries. Aside from his rookie year, Marvin hasn't played more than 50 games in the season. The Pistons highly overpaid for his 3 years, over $37 million deal, only outbidding against themselves. So irrelevant, he often goes under the radar. At this rate, Bagley better hope he's still in the NBA before Luka wins a championship. Super poor fundamentals, too weak on D, no instincts to play the 5, too slow laterally to guard 4s, can't guard any position. Also an awful screen setter, not a threat from the perimeter, only capable finishing with his left hand, most effective when he puts the ball on the floor with a good face-up game, being explosive here and there, but there's at least 3 players on every team better than him at that department. And Bagley doesn't have any role player qualities. Many of his injuries, sitting out longer than expected, made zero impact for all the teams he's played for. Already known for refusing to check in for Luke Walton after being buried on the bench, the disrespectful reputation with that massive ego failed to overcome adversity, instead played the victim's mentality. That's why he ended up in Detroit, remained the same player, from having Chris Bosh-like potential, the natural athletic talent, believing his style of play and talent's good enough to just make an impact in the NBA with scoring and offense only. Bagley continues to fail providing the little things. Remembered as a poor teammate in Sacramento, truly stat-lit over the years. A combined disgusting record, 21-89 with the Pistons and Wizards, an absolute abomination of a travesty. High levels of epic losing proportions for a player who had his numbers here and there. After putting together a few good games, he gets injured for a long time. The business of the NBA don't got time for banged up players like that. Never developing good team defense, relies all on his athleticism, a ball stopper on offense. From being in the 3 worst possible environments, the Kings before they got good, Detroit and Washington, no idea what they're doing. Vlade Divac might be more remembered now, taking the atrocious Bagley over Luka Doncic instead of any of his player accomplishments. With another year on his contract, his game simply doesn't fit in the modern era. Bad on D with no abilities to stretch the floor, incredibly fragile. Another big injury, missing several weeks. The league will have enough of him. No more second chances and move on, just like the NBA did for many other second overall picks like Jabari Parker and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. James Wisman signed 2 years with Indy, non-guaranteed, and a team option the second year, a product of only hype, upside, and high school buzz. From playing just 3 games in college to having no workouts during peak COVID, Golden State blindly took Wisman over LaMelo based on needing a big. From being compared to Joel Embiid with the physical intangibles, appeared to be a perfect fit for Golden State, only to end up like Darko Milicic for the Pistons, winning a ship, chilling on the bench. One of the worst b-ball IQs, not intelligent enough to play in Golden State's system, highly unqualified, the lack of awareness on defense, disgusting, always lost on the court, sent to the G League, plus the massive knee injury after his rookie season, regressed his development 4 years backwards, an absolute disgusting travesty of an 11-76 overall record in Detroit, having no post game, bad perimeter skills, poor passing, weak motor, lack of experience, no defensive awareness. Even Don Maker made a way better impact for the Pistons. All that 7'5" wingspan, still an awful rebounder. Detroit having 2 number 2 draft busts at center, and yet the best prospect at that position, a guy they drafted 13 in Jalen Durham. From Steve Kerr, not known for developing young players, to Monty Williams being super tough on non-vets. If Wisman was somehow the number 1 pick over superstar Ant Edwards, he'd be getting Anthony Bennett-like comparisons. Never developing properly, scared of contact. If he can't make an impact under heavy offense Indiana with the best pure forward general in Tyrese Halliburton, Wisman will not deserve another chance. Him and Bamba on the same team against Josh Hart fighting for a box out, 10 out of 10 times I'm putting my money on Josh Hart winning all those battles. Both Bamba and Wisman should just play in the Shaq and the Fool one-on-one game during All-Star Weekend. Game 21, winner gets to keep a spot in the NBA. Many rather watch that game than the modern-day dunk contests. Cam Reddish of the Los Angeles Lakers picking up his player option. The only success he'll look forward to with the Lakers, beating Bronny James one-on-one in practice. Not that it's gonna do much. The soon-to-be 25-year-old averaged 5.4 points for LA, 1 assist, below average from 3, although having some defensive moments at 6'8". Super passive, thought he was a star from the start, couldn't help Trae Young in Atlanta, to riding deep on the bench under Tibbs, to a short-term tank commander for the Blazers, played just 48 games for the Lakers, not healthy enough for the playoffs. Just like the other players mentioned, Cam has all the physical tools but the wrong mindset. Will never come close to being a star in the NBA. Darvin Ham gave him more chances than anybody could imagine. His best moments, similar to Trevor Ariza here and there, but if Phil Handy and LeBron can't turn him around, the league will just move on from his services. plus another injury overseas in a year, his most likely destination. If Reddish continues to struggle playing with LeBron, there will be no more chances. Jackson Hayes, of course he picks up his $2.5 million player option, possibly his last time being in the NBA after 2025. Put up 4 and 3, a super poor man's JaVale McGee, his most memorable Laker game, dropped 16 and 10, winning in Boston without the 2 stars. Hayes likely a better future than the Wisman, Bagleys, and Bambas of the world. Played much better towards the end of last season with some athletic gifts and energetic plays. Still not a true reliable center, but a serviceable third string. Finally learned not to foul constantly, unlike Wisman, plus hustling on the boards for many putback slams. If Hayes continues to improve on his discipline, could end up getting a 2-year deal in the near future. But if the Lakers struggle next season and Hayes has a couple huge low-light moments, the roasting will be through the roof. Chris Duarte, from making all-rookie team back in 2022, now 27 years old, found himself deep on the bench for Sacramento, looking like one of those rookie one-year wonders like Michael Carter-Williams and Tariq Evans, from averaging above 13 a game to just 5.6 points years 2 and 3, fighting for a new contract. Now a member of the awful Chicago Bulls, appears to be a finished product. The Pacers, being a young rising team, having multiple guards, was why they were comfortable getting rid of Duarte, reuniting with Domantas Sabonis, but having massive cold streaks with injuries, could easily fall off team rotation, being a one-trick pony, likely a 1-year rental. If Duarte can't provide meaningful minutes in Chicago, overseas could be on the horizon. Josh Primo, once upon a time the youngest player in the league, just 56 total NBA games, still only 22, absolutely needs to be on his best behavior. One mishap moment and he's done. A low risk high reward for the desperate Clippers, a 1-year minimum. Given the distractions all these years, it seems like next season could be a fresh start at redemption. Will need to produce and prove he's more than just another bench player, averaging less than a dozen minutes. Johnny Davis, the 10th pick of the 2022 draft, played 28 games as a rookie, limited with awful efficiency, looking like another big of a classic Wizards bust. Might end up playing less NBA games than Jan Vesely. Also struggle in the G League, has a case for top 10 worst players in the league. For somebody who averages more than a dozen minutes, the more he struggles, the diminished confidence will only set him back. There will be no market for him if he can't get playing time for the awful Wizards. Many might just call him the shooting guard version of Killian Hayes. Honorable mentions includes the number 1 and 2 picks of the 2017 draft, Markelle Fultz, super injury prone, serviceable backup 6-man going forward with flashes of star power but absolutely can't shoot with knee and shoulder problems. Orlando, being the worst 3-point shooting team last season, exposed his flaws even more. His production will highly depend on his health. Same goes with Lonzo Ball, who hasn't played in nearly 3 years. New meniscus, shown tons of promise when first started in Chicago as a lethal 3-and-D point guard with elite playmaking. We'll see how his body holds up. While the pathetic, awfully weak Ben Simmons, not a bust, was everything he was anticipated to be until the Hawks series disaster. Unfulfilled potential, wasted talent down the drain. While many great all-time talents had their careers derailed by injury, Simmons' career ruined by mental injury. It feels like Ben been retired since that Game 7 meltdown, and just waiting till his contract expire. Will likely be remembered having the biggest, fastest downfall we've seen from any former star player still in their 20s. Which one of these NBA players will actually save their careers and play beyond 2025? Your thoughts on the comments below. More good stuff coming soon. See y'all next video.